Sabrya, it is a pleasure to see you on Fragrance Day. I really appreciate you spending time with us and letting our viewers get to know you. So since I have known you for several years now and understand a bit more of your story, you're in a very important position at IFF. Could you tell us how long you've been at IFF and basically what led to you being in your current position? And what is the name of your position right now?
So first and foremost, thank you, Linda, and the Fragrance Foundation for inviting me for such an important day. My position at IFF today is President for the Fine Fragrance Business Unit. To speak a little bit about my journey and since the beginning, let's say, I've been working at IFF for 27 years almost. I started as an intern in the marketing department. Then I moved to the sales, and I went through different jobs in sales. Sales executive, sales director, but before that, a global account manager. Then I've been appointed as a general manager, and this for during 8 years in charge of Europe, Africa, Middle East, and more recently, since January 1st, I've been nominated president for Fine Fragrance.
It's a great journey. You know, we meet a lot of women in the industry, and what's unique is always the individual and the talents. But the fact that you've been at IFF in different areas that led to this moment, it's a momentous time for IFF. I know that everyone is very proud and very excited to have you in this role. So we're going to talk a bit today about your leadership style and what's going on with you at IFF. So let's just start with this. I know that I would love to hear from you firsthand. How do you mentor, support, and empower women with your leadership style at IFF today?
So first, before getting directly to it, I would like to speak a little bit about who I am.
Great.
And a little bit about my childhood and the way I've been raised by my mom. Actually, my mom never gave a different education to my older brother and myself. Actually, she has been extremely careful about being equal with my brother and me. It is about any type of rights, but also type of task, like, you know, setting the table, little things like that. But she never made any difference. There is another thing that she did transmit to me. It's this idea of freedom. And that's something very precious. So actually, as a child, this value of freedom and equity were something like usual, normal. Yeah. Then when I entry in the professional world, I realized that it was a little bit more complex. Mm-hmm. Having said that, these values were truly my foundations. And that's what inspires me every day. That's what I try to transmit to the women around me, to give them this feeling that everything is possible, and they can just feel, you know, free of doing whatever they want, as I did. Because my mom again always told me, be what you want to be, tell what you want to tell. And so that's something very important in the way I empower women. Then there is another thing, which is especially at this moment, then now I'm president of the Fine Fragrance at IFF, the fact that in my position, it's a kind of role model.
Yeah.
And just by the example of going through this journey, I give you know, the example to all the other women that they are also capable to reach that level in an organization. I feel like, you know, if I was able to make it work, why they shouldn't be to do it as well?
Yeah.
So that's for me also something very important in the way the women look at me.
Sabrya, I know that you went to your team to get feedback on your leadership style. Could you please share that with us?
Yes, Linda, actually, I wanted to make sure that the feeling I have about the way I empower women was aligned with the reality. So I asked them about it, and they told me that there was something very unique with me, which is the trust I was able to build, and this really close relationship. And the fact that they feel that they can be who they are, and there is no difference being at work or being at home. They can, you know, go through difficulties, small, big. At the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference. I know that they know that I trust them, that they will be able, because I know that they will be able to deliver what they have to deliver. And also the fact that I'm super transparent. And because I'm transparent, and they feel that this trust is real, it's not something fake. And yes, they feel really empowered thanks to the trust we have with each other, and the fact that they don't need to put, you know, another suit to be another woman. They can be who they are.
Yeah, be true to yourself is a very important thing, but for them to know that creates a relationship that works, because every day is a new day. So Sabrya, it's very exciting that you grew up always knowing you could do whatever you thought you wanted to do and set your mind to. However, another congratulations is you are the first woman to be in such a position at IFF, and perhaps through the history of IFF. So how do you view that? And was it easy or a bit more challenging for a woman to be put in such a position?
So Linda, actually, I'm very proud to be in that position, and probably I had to work twice as much as a man to be at that position. Probably I had to prove myself twice as much as well. And that's why I believe that today all the women are capable to get to that level. If, you know, probably it's a lot of work, but as soon as you feel like you are able to make it right, everything is possible, actually.
Yeah. Well, you have to be twice as good or work that much harder, but now you're in this position. So what would be a little advice? You talked about your background and how you got here now, but if someone were to come to you and say, one day I dream of being in a position such as yours, what would you say to them in terms of advice or what you have learned that you could share with them?
So first, and for me, this is the most important, be yourself. Be yourself, be who you are. Don't try to be someone else. You need to be consistent. You have to tell yourself that you are the best version of yourself.
Mhm.
That's for me the most important advice I could give. Secondly, yes, of course, you will have some doubts, along the way.
Yeah.
But this is okay. This is okay. You don't need to be perfect because nobody is perfect and perfection doesn't actually exist. But what you can do to overcome, this doubt is to understand in your environment who are your allies. And if you know who are your allies, you will be able to rely on them.
Mm.
And there is also the fact that you can build on collective intelligence. When you build on collective intelligence, you have people around you, and they will be your future supports.
Yeah.
So in that way, you are able to go to the next level. And if I had a third advice, it would be, and something that I'm very well known for that,
Okay.
never give up. Never give up. Be consistent. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Sabrya, I actually remember when we first met, you spoke about a project which seemed almost impossible, and you surprised everyone, and you just worked at it and worked at it until you found the best solution. So I think this is very encouraging for people. I also think women supporting women is important, but having allies, regardless of gender identity and everything else, is what makes you good. And now they're all rooting for your success. They're not challenged by it. Hopefully they're supportive of it, which, I mean, the world is really very excited to have you in this spot. So you know, at the Fragrance Foundation, since we met, that our number one priority is really diversity, equity, and inclusion. And although we speak as strong women to each other, there's a real need to make it part of the culture, that every gender identity, every color, every background, every religion, and there are a lot of people from France that are amongst us, and a lot of different backgrounds. So how do you think you can best, in your new leadership role, get everyone psyched and aligned and going forward together with #FragranceForwardTFF?
So first, I must say that, diversity and inclusion is part of IFF DNA. And that's also why I'm so proud to be at IFF. If I look sorry, if I look on all the iconic women that we have and that we had at IFF, there are numerous. I can speak about Joséphine Catapano. She was perfumer in 1953.
Wow.
At a time where perfumers were almost only men.
Mm-hmm.
She developed used you with another iconic woman, Mrs. Lauder.
Yes.
And she was one of the pioneers for the US market. So it was our, let's say, our first very iconic woman at IFF. There are several other women, and you know, there is Sophia Grossman. She is one of the most successful perfumer in the industry, the Queen of Roses. She developed Treasure, Eternity, Paris from Saint Laurent, and even and much more fragrances. I can speak also about Monique Rémy. She was a pioneer in naturals with a very disruptive approach, developing, you know, with no compromise, fragrance, naturals, 100% pure. She was also pioneer in sustainability. It was even not the name at the name at that time, and she was a woman again in a world of men at that time in Grasse. So I can say today that I'm very proud of all these women and this great legacy. And I'm following their footsteps. And all the women at IFF should be proud of that. Another thing which is important now, we are moving with a new chapter at IFF with a new CEO since 2022, Frank Clyburn. He committed by 2030 that IFF will be gender equal at the level of the executive committee, but also at the level of board of directors. And 40% of the US management will be people of colors. So it's a very, very strong commitment. So not only we have a legacy, but moving forward and looking at the future, IFF has strong commitment about the way we want to contribute in that and with this positive impact on the society.
That's a very good point. You know, for people who are watching this, one of the biggest things I learned, particularly with people of different colors, you have to see someone who looks like you to truly believe it's possible. So I can say it, to have a Black man as the top spot at IFF is a real message to the entire industry. I cannot wait to meet him. And I think the legacy of women and him in this current position really show you're not just talking about it, you're really doing it. So it's a huge step for mankind, if I can say, and in the fragrance world. We have a lot of things to accomplish together, Sabrya, but getting to know you today is really a great privilege for everyone. It is International Fragrance Day, so we're celebrating. I can't thank you enough for joining us between the time difference and everything on your plate and getting to know so many people at this point, Sabrya. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Linda. It was a really nice moment, as usual, with you. And thank you also for using fragrance to empower women. That's a great way to yes, for the Fragrance Foundation to have a positive impact in that area. So thank you for that.
Thank you. The world smells better because we're in it, Sabrya.
Exactly.